Hello and welcome to My Xbox and Me, episode 347. I am one of your hosts, MC Fixer, alongside the one and only Matt P. Video. Matt, how are you?
I'm very well, mate. Very well. Well, actually, a little bit hungover, but I'm okay.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Your hair is hungover hair.
Yeah, man. I just looked at it right now as you said hello, and I was like, fuck, I should have done something about my hair. But we're in it. We're in it.
We're in it now. We're in it. And of course, the one and only Kresh. Kresh, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, all right. Well, good stuff. Well, thanks to that. Well, that's it. Wrap up the podcast. It's over. Thank you all for watching this week's My Xbox and Me, and I'll see you all later.
I had a feeling it would be a short one.
Boys, I want to start this podcast off by saying how proud I am of both of you. I'm so effing proud. You did your first watch along without me. I wasn't there. I had nothing to do with it. I didn't even think about it. I was off at another event doing some VR stuff, and I was like, go on, my boys, go on. Do your thing. I didn't even ask. You just did it. I loved it. I was so happy.
It went pretty smoothly, I think.
Yeah, how'd it go? How'd it go? Kresh, you're the mature adult here. How'd it go?
I think it went good. I think
Yeah?
it went well.
I guess Matt hosted. I haven't watched it.
Matt did host.
Yeah, I didn't think you'd step up and host it like that. I didn't think so.
I think that's disrespectful.
I mean, or it's the truth.
disrespectful.
Or it's the truth. But it went well,
Truth
yeah?
hurts most. Yeah.
Did you get many people in there?
Yeah.
The videos are like almost 600 views or something, isn't it?
It is?
And obviously, they weren't all there live, obviously, but yeah, it was good fun.
Well, congratulations, both of you, on your success as reaction YouTubers from now on. Perfect. Appreciate it. I no longer need to
over
do
the My
it.
Xbox and Me channel. Don't worry.
Yeah, we're pivoting My Xbox and Me now to just react to PlayStation State of Plays.
Yeah.
So that's what we're gonna
That's
do on the
just
channel
State
now,
of
and
Play.
So
just State of Plays.
I got a message from someone like, why are they doing reaction to State of Play on My Xbox and Me? It's like, it's a third-party game. That's why. It makes perfect sense. It was one game that we're all interested in one way or another. It made perfect sense. So screw you guys, all right? Screw you guys. If you didn't know what My Xbox and Me is our weekly Xbox podcast right here on youtube.com/My Xbox and Me, and of course, all podcast services. If you want the show early, head over to patreon.com/MCFixer, or just to throw us a couple bucks to keep the lights on and keep things going. If not, no problem. The show usually goes out every Friday or on a Sunday, depending on what's going on. Matt P's looking at me like that, like, hey, Fix, hey, yeah, shut up.
Usually there's a lot going on.
Do you know what it's not? Do you know what it is? It's always edited and stuff. It's the video version that's the big problem. So uploading the video version on the internet that I currently have takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours. So what happens is I'll start the upload, yeah? Then I'll leave the computer on. Then I'll walk back. I'll turn the computer off, forgetting that I've uploaded it. Then it goes to like 70. If you watch the back end, it'll get to like 80%. Then I'll try and re-upload it. So then it starts again. Doesn't start, makes me re-upload it from the start. It's a whole process. All right. It's not that I'm being lazy. I'm doing it, but then I'm forgetting certain things. And yeah, I'm making excuses. I'm making excuses. I'm sorry. Patreon producers this month. Shout out to Aaron Guard and the one and only FNH Paul. Thank you, boys, for keeping the show on and being our Patreon producers this week. Topic of the show: Hogwarts Legacy gameplay has finally been shown. The game that wasn't coming out this year. It wasn't even going to make it this year. It wasn't even going to come out, right, Matt?
Still ain't out yet, mate.
Okay.
Still haven't even got a date yet.
It's not coming out this year.
You don't, what?
No.
You don't. Neither of you think it's coming out this year.
I'm more inclined to believe it will come out this year than Kresh is, but the fact that they didn't put an actual release date on that State of Play is scary.
It's not coming out this year.
Interesting. Well, yeah, I mean, I haven't watched your watch along, so I don't know any of your guys' opinions. We got to see about 20 minutes of gameplay, showing off the gameplay's features and all the stuff you have come to expect in a sorry, I shouldn't say Harry Potter. In a Harry Potter world. Not a Harry Potter game, a Harry Potter world. Obviously, you've got your classes, you've got your abilities, you've got all that good stuff that you're expecting. Kresh, what was your initial thoughts? I don't know if you've watched it again since after reacting to it. Reacting to things is really hard to then ingest everything because you're kind of reacting. What are your initial thoughts on it?
I liked, my initial thoughts were like, this looks better than I thought it would by a mile, you know, from everything from the combat just to the graphics and the visual, and how open the world seems, I guess. So I was kind of surprised by all that.
Okay. Matt, what was your initial thoughts?
Yeah, I think the same. I think it looked a lot better than I thought it would. The story seems interesting, like this idea that you're an older student who's coming in for their first year and their fifth year for some reason, is like a cool idea. The nostalgia, it hit all of the right buttons for nostalgia, right? Like it felt like Hogwarts. It seemed to make sense, like the sort of layout of the school and all the bits we were seeing, the common rooms and stuff like that. They all looked legit, looked like what we expect them to, how we remember them from the movies and books as well. And so, yeah, I think all of that was really impressive. The combat being, you know, combo based, I think they called it during the state of play. It looked, like I was saying on our watch along, it looked almost God of War, like Devil May Cry, like juggling enemies in the air and pulling them towards you and throwing them away and yada yada. All of it really intriguing.
Nah, let me tell you, I've been looking forward to this game a long time. I forgot the obligatory fuck J.K. Rowling, just real quickly. I apologize. And we'll talk about more about that a little bit later on in the show. I totally agree with both of you. Thought it looked amazing in terms of its visual fidelity. Loved what they were doing with common rooms. I think the story looks quite interesting. All of that stuff, I think they've nailed it. I thought the combat looked trash. I have to say, I was sitting there the whole time with Haley. Haley's a huge Harry Potter fan. She can't wait for it. And I'm sitting there going, that don't look good. That doesn't look fun. The combat doesn't look fun. And I was like, oh no, is this not going to be good? Like, I imagine going to classes is going to be great. Like, in my head, like a mixture of like a persona, going to classes, meeting your classmates, the whole companion app of like meeting new friends and learning. The story, I think, is going to be amazing. Open worldness, exploring, being on your broomstick, all of that. I think they're going to nail all of that. But the moment-to-moment gameplay, every time I was seeing it, I was like, oh no, this doesn't look like what I wanted, which is really hard because I don't know what I wanted, but it didn't look like what I wanted.
That's what I was going to say. I think it's hard. It's probably hard to get a essentially like ranged combat system to play well, let alone look fun and engaging.
True.
And so I don't necessarily disagree with you. Like the last Deathly Hallows game, I think it was the last one, and maybe it was part one, was a third-person shooter, like cover-based shooter, and so, like, it's definitely not that, right?
No.
Like, and so yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with you that it didn't look super entertaining, but who knows?
I will say the more, because I went back and I watched bits of it again. I do think the combat looks clunky, and I think that's where my biggest worry is, where it doesn't look super smooth, where you talk about like this combo based gameplay, like if that doesn't play smooth, because you mentioned both God of War and Devil May Cry, like those games play like butter. They are super smooth to play. Like if this doesn't play like that, it'll be really noticeable, especially because it's a ranged game more so than anything else.
They're also both melee games, right? And like, well, I mean, you can shoot in Devil May Cry and stuff, I suppose, but
no, I consider it a melee game. You're
100%. And there is something about kind of that sort of combat style, where like it lends itself more to melee because you know you can see an enemy winding up to hit you versus an enemy who's maybe off screen shooting something at you. How much sort of are they? What's the word I'm looking for? They're showing off their moves before they do it. I can't remember.
Yeah,
there's a term people use, but
I know what you're trying to say. Yeah, I don't want to be negative on this because I do think it actually looked really fun. Like I do think it's exactly what I imagined it would be, apart from the multiplayer aspects, which I'll speak about in a little bit. I really liked what I saw, and I'm like, okay, yeah, we finally evolved to what I think a Harry Potter world video game, Harry Potter game, just for the lack of better terms right now. should look like. It looks that way. There's two things that I was hoping they were gonna have in this that they didn't. A nemesis system. I thought for goblins would have been amazing. We've spoken about nemesis systems so much in the past and been like, when is the next game going to have it? And we don't know, this game could have it, but they just haven't showed it. I doubt it. I feel like this would have been the big moment to have done it.
100%.
And yeah, it's combat between. Obviously, you're a wizard or a witch, obviously, and like I never really thought about what that would mean when it comes to its gameplay. And yeah, it just looked. I don't know if I agree with Kresh on clunkiness. I'd have to watch it again. I've only watched it the once, but it just didn't look fluid. I guess that means it's clunky. I guess I don't know. I don't know if that means it looks clunky, but it didn't look like it was going to be very smooth all of the time. It looked like, oh, I've picked this guy up and then I'm going to do this. It never felt fluid. It just felt like, and now I can push my R1, which was on screen at this time, to get that barrel to just blow everyone up. It just didn't. We've seen games like this before that have those sort of commands, and they work. I'm not saying they don't work. It just wasn't what I envisioned when I thought about this game.
I will say, and it's one thing I did mention when we were doing the reaction, is that you have the dash ability and you see the dash ability, and that could work into making the game feel more fluid and stuff like that. So it could just be a matter of like how you build your character and what level the character is, because we have no sort of concept on what an actual like clean 10 minutes of gameplay look, because these were a bunch of jump cuts to abilities, right?
Yeah.
And that could be why it looks clunky, is because it literally is them from jumping from clip to clip, with us having no idea of how powerful the character and how many abilities the character has available to them at that time.
True.
I kind of also hope that maybe combat isn't a huge part of this game.
I agree.
Like, there's a lot of interesting stuff in there with like potions and going invisible. There's like a little section where he's doing a little stealth thing. Cool. Can I tackle a lot of these situations in stealth? Maybe. I don't know. But I kind of want it to be about companions and about people and about puzzle solving with different spells and yada yada, as opposed to a lot of combat. But I'm assuming it will have a lot of combat.
I think it'll have a lot of combat.
Yeah,
just by the nature of like, I'm sure that I'm sure there'll be dungeons that have puzzles and stealth parts, but those same dungeons will have combat parts, and I can guarantee you there's going to be areas that only have combat as opposed to having dungeons and stealth bits. I think combat will be like sort of when you're not in Hogwarts or the town. I think combat will be sort of a regular occurrence.
I'm sure.
Multiplayer, boys. None.
Were you expecting it to?
No, I wasn't expecting it to, but I had hoped for at least like a co-op.
Yeah, I agree.
A co-op like of a game like this, and we already knew what it was. I was just hoping for the ability. Look, Hogwarts to me is a family thing. It's watching the films at Christmas. This seems like if it had 4-player co-op, which I don't know if it. I played the game, don't know if it would work, but seems like the perfect game to have played with my nephews, played with the missus, played with like this is such an accessible IP that I would have loved it to have had at least some sort of co-op. And as soon as I saw companions, I was like, oh, this game hasn't got co-op. that is not happening. I mean, could it get added down the line? Maybe. Could we get we got a Ghost of Tsushima, which is like dungeons that are co-op only, possibly. I remember when this game first leaked, I don't know, Kresh, was it you on the podcast? And I was like, and we could have this, and it could be this, and it could be, and I remember like, it's almost that. It is almost what I wanted. Almost. It's so close to it, but just without the co-op. Like, could you, I feel like just 4 wizards or witches running around with a common room and just hangout areas and all of what is already there could have been a lot of fun. And then you're going off to do your dungeons and you're going off to do this and some of you are going to classes together. I felt like that would have been the creme de la creme for me. And then honestly, the combat can be as clunky and as bad as it wants to be because I'm not playing it for that reason. I'm then using it as a social hub to spend with my friends and mess about. And it isn't that. So now I have to judge it on its combat, I have to judge it on its story, I have to judge it on its graphics, which those things so far look amazing. We got to see a lot of creatures and a lot of different enemy types in this. We had dungeons. We had dragons, we had goblins, a bunch of other creatures that I don't know the names off the top of my head because I'm not the biggest Potterhead like that. Though, like I say, people I was watching it with were like, that's a this, and that's a this, and that's a this. And then obviously, there was one moment in this trailer that concerned me instantaneously, which was the moment for the spells and the countdowns.
Yeah, we all had the exact same thought.
It's not microtransactions. We know that. They confirmed that, right?
We now know that, yeah. But when we were watching that live, everybody in the chat was like, I spotted 3 currencies in that menu earlier, and now there's a countdown timer on screen. We're in trouble.
Yeah.
But yeah, they confirmed afterwards that there will be no microtransactions, supposedly, in this game whatsoever. So that's at least nice.
But don't get the whole countdown timer thing.
It's something that's growing. I think that's honestly what it is. I think you'll level up your botany skill or whatever it would be, and that time
and that'll be shorter.
Relatively get lower. Yeah, it's to like encourage you to go to class if you're going to be wanting to use potions and stuff like that. Because it seems like, at least from the way they were talking about it, like, oh, you'll catch up on your own time or whatever. It seems like the class system won't be like Persona, where it's like you have class this day, you have to go to class.
Gotcha.
It seems like it'll be more free going.
See,
so that's just sort of.
I kind of want it like Persona. I want it to be.
I agree.
At 5 o'clock, I better be at potions class, and if I miss it, hey, you missed class, kid. That's your problem.
Can I be honest? Like, after this, I was talking to a friend, and he was like, I kind of wish it was more a slice of life game as opposed to a big narrative, like end of the world narrative sort of situation, which they have going. And I think I agree with that. I think like having a school simulator where you go on dungeons or you sneak out of class and skip that stuff, I think that would be very fun for this game as opposed to what we're getting. Not to say that what we're getting is going to be bad.
I feel like... Sorry, go on, man.
Go on. No, but you go. I was going to say, I think that would really then need multiplayer if it was going to be a slice of life game.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I don't think it has to be, but I think it would add. It would add even more to.
Yeah.
4 best friends have now skipped class instead of going to their potions class at 3 o'clock. Like that would. Yeah. You're creating your own narrative there as well.
But at that point, like you're going towards like an MMO type experience.
That's kind of what I wanted.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying that would be bad. I'm just saying that would be.
That's kind of what I wanted. I wanted the common room to be not
full
as
of people.
Not MMO in the. It's still an MMO, obviously, but not like
a Destiny.
I'm talking.
Game.
It's not as many people.
You go into the tower.
Less people. Less. Yeah. I'm talking like the server is like there's 10 maybe even Fable-esque, where like, do you remember back in the day? Obviously, Fable had like the glowing orbs that were going around, and like you could interact with them, and then you could gift stuff, and like I don't know what you could have added there. There's a ton of stuff that could have been done, but like something like that, just to make me feel. Again, that isn't what this game is. So it's very apparent that isn't what this game is, and that's okay. I just wonder, will we ever get that game? Will we ever get a Harry Potter MMO?
I don't think so. Oh, no. Harry Potter MMO, no. MMOs are incredibly expensive to make, and they're super risky.
True.
And
it's Harry Potter, though, so.
Well,
they also need to.
It's not Harry Potter. That's the thing. It's not Harry Potter.
Not the character Harry Potter, but the universe of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
It is Harry Potter.
They're still paying the same licensing for it, right? And so if it was Harry Potter or if it's Hogwarts, and so keeping that licensing deal going for an MMO that needs to last however many years and people are going to invest into it, it's tricky, right? They did it with Lord of the Rings Online, and that didn't last very long.
That game was bad.
Sure.
That didn't last very long, and it wasn't because of licensing.
I was going to say, that game was bad. I played that game. That game was bad. I'd like overall, I was thoroughly impressed though with what we got to see. They showed a lot. They showed a lot more than I was expecting them to show. I do agree with you guys in the sense of like no release date, but in the same breath, they need their wow factor for. I don't know what E3 is now, but whatever. It won't be E3. It'll be WB's fandom dome or.
I don't think it would be at fandom
or whatever.
That's DC.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right. That is DC. I don't know why I'm putting WB and DC together there. They'll put it as something. Or it'll be a PlayStation's next big E3 state of play. Clearly, we know they have the marketing rights for it now. Which, again, PlayStation have dropped the ball. It's a huge IP. that is going to bring in a casual audience, and it hasn't got your logo slapped all over it. You're doing. I know Phil has said on time and time again that he doesn't like those type of deals. Those are the deals that are going to help you build this ecosystem.
You meant Xbox drop the ball, right?
Did I say PlayStation?
You did.
I meant Xbox. Yeah, to me it was just like you're gonna see this game on buses, you're gonna see this game in cinemas. This game's trailers are gonna be put through Twitch and traditional TV, and it's going to be everywhere. Honestly, and your console ain't gonna be mentioned.
This game will sell off of word of mouth alone, even without like trailers and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course.
You are right. There is power to how ridiculously mainstream this is because it's Harry Potter, and that power of that PlayStation logo at the end is super valuable. Now, it's coming to all consoles, including Switch and last-gen consoles.
Honestly, I was worried when I heard about last-gen consoles. I got even more worried when I heard about Switch.
I agree with that.
Because they're like, it's this open world. You can go anywhere. And I'm like, that scope is going to be so limited just by the nature of it has to work on Switch, as well as like Xbox One and
or it's going to be really bad on Switch.
Or that
it's one of two ways. Either the scope's going to be super limited, or it's going to be really bad on Switch.
So you're saying like the old gen consoles and Switch get
No, I'm saying old gen consoles are still more powerful than Switch, so they'll be okay.
Well, yeah. I think if they make a separate version for the Switch that's super limited, I think old gen gets that version.
Okay, yeah, possibly.
Yeah, maybe. I know we're in privileged positions where we have these next gen consoles, and not everybody is, but I'm fed up of games coming to old gen consoles now and me being like, why?
Yeah, I mean, there's too many still out there in the wild, and people.
I know.
You still can't just get a PlayStation 5 or a Series X, so.
Yeah.
We still got more. We still probably got like 3 or 4 years of this to come, if I'm being honest with you.
Do you think?
3 or 4?
Do you think?
I don't think so.
Minimum 3 years.
At some point, do you think we get to a point where, because you can do it on Xbox One, right? You could like theoretically stream, Halo Infinite. You stream Halo Infinite if you play Halo Infinite on Xbox One. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I might be wrong.
No. I think you can stream it through xCloud.
Yeah, that's the only way you can play it on that Xbox One.
Possibly.
No, I think no.
No, you can download it normally as well.
Download and play it, yeah. Because I remember people had issues with it. Like
we'll get to a point though where that won't be the case, right? I'm sure a game will come out, and Xbox may well market it as available on Xbox One, but it's streaming only.
No,
I don't know.
Way. No,
do you think
not?
They won't. No, because like you have to think the same conversation that happens with being privileged for next gen consoles. You're privileged to have good internet. Like not everybody's guaranteed to have that. So if you market it as, oh, this is on Xbox One as well, and you're like, oh, that's great. I have my Xbox One. I'm gonna go on and play it, and then you have shitty internet. Like that's already a dissatisfied.
That's a PR nightmare.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. I'm just
putting it out there. I get you, brother. I get you.
Yeah.
Anything we've missed from all this Harry Potter? Did you want to get nitty gritty with it? Like, obviously, there's a lot of details that have come out with it. I assume a lot of people by now have already don't really need a run by run of like what is to come. Do we like where the narrative's going in terms of what we've seen so far?
Don't care.
Really?
Don't care.
Yeah.
I like the idea. Sorry, go on.
I don't like the idea of like having a big bad and having it be a goblin uprising. I think there's just like all sorts of like, it's just weird. I don't think you need that whole narrative to it. I'd rather there be one central villain instead of like, and they did point to one person.
Yeah, there's one main goblin.
There's one main goblin, but they're shipping it as a goblin rebellion, right?
You need fodder to be able to kill a lot of.
Absolutely, that's
and that's why they've done it, right?
Because the wording doesn't imply like it's this specific group of goblins. It is a goblin rebellion.
Yeah.
It is universal goblins, and I think that's more so my issue with the narrative.
I like what they did with where they've set it in terms of it being set in the 1800s.
Yeah,
late 1800s.
Like, I think that's very smart. It gets away from where's Dumbledore? Where's this character?
Yeah.
Where's that character? Which I'm not saying we won't see any of these characters at all. I don't know. Again, Wizard Age, stuff like that. I don't know how it works.
I think Dumbledore's like 100 something when he
Gotcha.
dies. Like
So there's a
theoretically,
possibility we see a little
maybe
baby Dumbledore.
Well, that's-
little
but
baby
that's-
We have to
Dumbledore,
babysit him.
Like,
a year 7 Dumbledore,
Well,
like a first year
it's
Dumbledore.
just something. I don't think
Yeah.
it's out of the realm of possibilities. Obviously, you saw
No.
Headless Nick, going
Yes.
around the school and stuff like that.
It's also a magic world.
Yes.
So like time travel is like something that can happen.
Yeah.
Like
They do
who
have time
knows?
travel. That's the
They
thing.
do.
They could
They
literally
do.
invent a reason, and it'll be like, oh yeah, cool, magic. You know,
See into the future, like
Yeah.
just anything. Yeah, I like what they've done there. It allows you to get away from where are these people that I'm used to seeing,
Yeah.
and why aren't they here? It's like, okay, cool, perfect. Well, here's a very simple
I-
explanation. They ain't alive yet. Like, perfect.
Yeah, I am curious if some people are going to go into this game, and I'm sure there will be, expecting sort of that whole typical Harry Potter
100%.
experience with Harry and seeing Ron and all of them, and
Yep.
they're gonna be like, wait, where are all the people? There's no one I recognize. Who's
I
this
am
teacher?
Ron.
Who's that? Yeah, you are Ron. Yeah.
One thing that wasn't in there at all that surprised me was dialogue trees and conversation options. We didn't see any of that.
I hope we don't
I
have
don't.
any of it.
Really? Well, the
Dude,
reason that I'm surprised is
Trees
because
are trash.
You're gonna bring up like the relationship with people, right, Matt?
well, no,
assume.
I think every look, you can customize your own character. They made that very clear,
Yeah.
right? And so everybody wants to go to Hogwarts. Everybody wants to feel like they're at Hogwarts. If we're just playing through this story where we're given a character and it's like, this is what they're doing and these are the decisions they're making, and you don't necessarily as a player agree with those decisions, you're not getting that. You're not living out that fantasy of going to Hogwarts,
True.
picking your friends and
But you
True.
can make choices without dialogues. Like,
sure.
I don't think they're gonna like force you to interact with every companion. I think that'll be more so on you.
I
don't
agree.
think they're gonna force you to go to all of your classes. That's gonna be on you. I don't think they're gonna force you to go to all the dungeons. That's gonna be on you. I think that's where a lot of the personal experience with the game comes. I don't think dialogue trees necessarily add that.
No, but they do
especially-
have that interesting thing then of like, oh, this guy is clearly a dick, and I have the choice to tell him to his face he's a dick or get into a fight in the hallway, or like, that's what people want from Hogwarts, right? They want to feel like they're at that school. And if they're being railroaded through this story, they're not going to get that.
I don't think it's going to be railroaded though. Like, I feel like there seems to be, from what we've seen so far, enough for you to go and do that. It's not going to feel railroaded. The thing I always have a problem with dialogue trees is when you do the ones where it's like, you've got 3 options, and then you say one of them, it's like, go to the next one, and you got that one, and you go to the next one, and you're like, bro, if you're going to give me a dialogue tree like you're talking about, Matt, it needs to be here's the angry answer, here's the sensible answer, and let me go from back and forth. I don't want to, hey, Jennifer, how are you? I don't care. Like, no.
Most games let you skip that stuff.
And most games now make it clear, like, this is the one to progress this conversation.
True,
Everything else is context. I think a lot of games do a good job of that now. Yeah, but which is fine.
But then I do want the context as well. That's the problem. I don't want it, but it's there, so I have to listen to it. Because
Sure.
otherwise, I'm like, well, what could you have said that I didn't know? And then you start feeling left out. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's it went from being one of my most anticipated games to still being one of my most anticipated games, but for different reasons. Like, the idea of doing puzzles, I can't wait. And I'm not very big into puzzles, but that part of it, it's just the moment-to-moment combat that I'm like, oh, man, I don't think I'm going to want to fight these goblins. Like, I'm just going to want to, like, go to class, and I hope there's a lot of that. That's always the fun parts for me, like, in the Yakuza games, right? Like, playing Yakuza Like a Dragon, then going to, like, doing your classes in that and stuff. Like, that was the fun stuff for me. I really enjoyed doing that. Fighting people in Yakuza, whatever. I don't really care. I'm doing it to level people up, sure. But, like, yeah, you want me to go go-karting? Yes. You want me to go play Quidditch in this state? Yes. Why are you laughing at me? Like, that's what I mean. That's what I want. I want
agree.
that.
I agree.
I want
I
that.
don't know if it's going to be there.
No, I know.
I don't know how much of that you're gonna get. I think those are gonna be very much so. Do these things to help yourself when you're fighting. I think that's what it's gonna be.
I know, you're right.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's going to be. It's going to do those things to help yourself fighting, so you can go to a dungeon, so you can get better gear, so you can do a bigger dungeon. Like, I think that's what it is.
There's loot. We saw that.
There's loot. There is definitely loot.
So is there a big baddie at the end, you reckon? Voldemort
Like a
turns
raid?
up? Nah, it ain't gonna be a raid.
No, there's no raid.
And there ain't gonna be no Voldemort either.
Yeah, the big bad goblin.
They'll
there'll
tie it
be-
into Voldemort
They
somehow, I
mentioned,
bet.
No, Voldemort wouldn't have been alive then.
They'll figure it out.
I don't think they
No
tied to
Voldemort. No Voldemort. There's gonna be no Voldemort.
The
Who's
big
alive
baddie's
at this
gonna be,
time? Do we even know if we ever had a Harry Potter story
Not this far
early?
back, I don't
No,
think
we
so.
haven't, have we? No.
I mean, people get mentioned like oh, he's in Fantastic Beasts actually. The guy who creates the Philosopher's Stone and stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of Harry Potter's history, as far as I'm aware, goes up to Fantastic Beasts and around that area.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit before that, but not really this far back.
And Fantastic
Moaning
Beasts
Myrtle
sucks as well.
Go that far back?
Well,
She might be
Moaning
a student
Myrtle,
there.
no, because
she's
yeah. Fresh nose.
Yeah, she's from Chamber of Secrets, isn't
Yeah.
she?
She's a
dies during
ghost.
that.
Yeah, but she
Yeah.
dies like not that long
Yeah,
ago.
she dies in Chamber of Secrets.
Nah, she doesn't
No.
die in Chamber of Secrets.
No, not during the movies, but like whenever Tom Riddle takes place.
Yes.
She dies when the snake first appears.
Yes.
She's
So
like one
yeah,
of the
no,
first
you ain't
victims.
seen
That's
her.
not that long ago.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Dumbledore was principal or whatever you would call it.
Man, what? Do you know what? Can I just say something? I didn't know Kresh knew Harry Potter like this. I'm not gonna lie to you all. I didn't know you knew Harry Potter like this, Kresh. Hold up a minute. You're a Potterhead.
I watched the movies, bro.
Yeah, but I've watched the movies multiple times, and I'm still terrible with this stuff. That being said,
Just pay attention.
I'm forced to watch the movies. Hayden's like this, like the way I make her play Resident Evil games. I have to watch the Harry Potter films every year. It's like Jesus, I'm good, you know. I'm good. Should we get into Fix This Suck this week, boys?
Do it.
First question comes from Eldozo and says, "Hello, chaps. It's been a hot minute since I posted a question, so I hope this is a good one. With the recent Harry Potter State of Play on the 17th of March, and given the surrounding thing controversies, of the author of said books, I was wondering if you believe it is possible to separate the art from the artist. Can you be hyped for a game even with the controversy, or do you think that if you are not part of the solution, that you are part of the problem?" Very heavy question. I think it's a case-by-case basis. To use a couple people, for instance, R. Kelly. I no longer listen to R. Kelly's music. R. Kelly has made some of the biggest hits on this earth, and take away nothing from his talent in when it comes to music, he's a scumbag of a human being. And we have concrete evidence for the things in which he has acted. I'm not saying that we don't have concrete evidence for what has happened with J.K. Rowling, because we do. We know her stance, and she's transphobic. I do not agree with that. I have trans members of family and trans friends and stuff like that. I don't know what the right answer is to this for this specific case. But when it comes to separating the art from the artist, I struggle listening to Michael Jackson's music. Michael Jackson was never convicted of anything. So it's down to me to make up my mind and decision on how I feel about Michael Jackson. Who else is there? There's so many cases out there. Harvey Weinstein. I think if I'm shooting from the hip and doing my MC Fixer, which is usually just me talking, right? I'm talking out of situation here. I think we're all a bunch of fucking hypocrites. If I'm being totally honest with you, I'm sitting here wearing an Adidas jumper that was probably made by a lot of young children that they get paid absolutely next to nothing to make it, and I don't sit here and go, I shouldn't wear this. And like, I think if you go back far enough in everything, in any way of life, a lot of us are hypocrites when it comes to certain things. Do I feel like a hypocrite in this case? No. Fuck J.K. Rowling. I don't agree with her stance on this. I don't agree with her. But I also understand that Harry Potter isn't her. And this world isn't her. Yes, she created it. 100%. But she didn't make this game. She isn't the one putting the blood, sweat, and tears in. She isn't the one missing the birthdays. She isn't the one, staying late in the office to make this. And there's gotta be a give and take here, right? Like, if you are able to and you're in a position to combat what she's against, support. In my head, again, I'm just talking from my point of view and what I think I'm gonna do. Support some trans charities, and if you're gonna buy the game for $60 and reward WB and the members of staff there, also do the same in other places. If that is that may not be the answer. I'm not saying that is the answer, but I'm saying if that is your stance, at least you're doing something.
Or if you're really, really against the situation, but you do want to play Harry Potter because you're a fan of Harry Potter, buy the game used.
Yeah.
You don't. J.K. Rowling
She doesn't get
no
a penny.
Money, no support. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So just like if you really want to play the game, buy it used if that's like how you feel. As far as separating art from artists, I've talked about this on before. Like, the product is part of the artist. It is a vision of them. Like, at the end of the day, Harry Potter is a part of J.K. Rowling. It's her words at the end of the day. The same words she used to be negative about other people, she used different words for Harry Potter. It's still from her. I do think it's to not even think on the situation and sort of just ignore it by saying, oh, I separate art from artist is kind of a privileged position because that exact topic doesn't affect you. I'm not saying it should define your decision. I'm not saying it means that you shouldn't get Harry Potter or anything like that. But some thought I feel like should go on to in a certain level.
Just to interject, even thinking about it is a start, though. Like, the fact that we're able to think about it and have the conversation about it is a start. Now, is it all the way there? No. But it is a good start. And it is... I don't like the thing we do on the internet. And again, I'm a big Twitter user, and Twitter's terrible for it, which is like, if you have a thought about something else, that means you have to agree with that point for the rest of your life. And if you say something wrong, and again, obviously cancel culture and stuff like that nowadays is crazy. I mean, I'd be cancelled every day. Like, I say things that are wrong. I don't mean them in the way sometimes they will come out, right? That doesn't mean I'm a horrible human being. That isn't me excusing J.K. Rowling, but I'm saying with this, I'm sure if you go back and find a podcast, I probably said I ain't supporting this game. 100%. Again, I'm also in a very privileged position where I work with PR companies. I won't be paying. There's no guarantee. I probably won't be paying for the game anyway.
Yeah.
So, what do I do now? I talk to the people around me. So I will reach out to Laura, and I will reach out to other trans friends, or, Laura K. Buzz, if you don't know her, a friend of mine, and find out what can I do. I'm sure her stance is going to be, fuck that game and fuck her, and I ain't messing with that at all. And she's allowed to have that stance, just like I'm allowed to have the stance of, okay, I understand where you're coming from, because if this was a racist, would I support it? That's where I go in my head. If the person who made Harry Potter was a racist, would I still buy it? Probably. And that would actually affect me. But I still probably would, because that doesn't mean everyone who works on the game is a racist.
Yeah, it's super complex and super difficult, right? I think, like, the Harvey Weinstein example you mentioned is an interesting one, right? Because you could say, I'm never going to watch Home Alone again because it's a Harvey Weinstein film. And I understand, I guess. The thing with that is, like, he's so actually far removed from that. I get his name's on it and he makes money from it, but he's really far removed from that. And there are hundreds of thousands of other people who've worked on that piece of art that should be compensated for their work, and if they've created something amazing, should be applauded for creating that amazing thing.
Same thing here.
And exactly, same thing here. But, there are a lot of people working on this game, a lot of people who love this world working on this game, and there's clearly a lot of passion been put into it. And so I agree with you. It's super difficult. It's also, like you say, we're talking from a very privileged position where
Absolutely.
J.K. Rowling saying these things doesn't affect us on a very personal
level,
just me level, right? Like, we have trans friends and stuff like that, and so there is that level of it. But it's super difficult. But what Kresh said about buying the game used is actually a great idea, and something that I hadn't thought about or considered. But like you say, Fix, that we're in this privileged position where I will probably end up getting this game having not paid for it as well. So
not only that, though, it's we also run a weekly podcast where we talk about video games for a living. Some of us stream. This is going to be the hottest property ticket out there in our world, and
Sure.
to compete in our worlds, we have to go with what is trending. That is our job. Our job is to do that. Is to find out what is the hottest thing and make content about said thing. Do we do it very well? Not really. We do a weekly podcast here, but nonetheless, that is what we do. We talk about video games. There's people out here who don't give a crap about this topic, and that's okay. You don't want to care? You do you. I'm not here to judge you. It's not my opinion. It's not down to me to judge you on how you live your life. But you want to hear my opinion about Harry Potter, and should you buy it? That's what you care about. You don't care about F.J.K. Rowling. You care about, is this bloody game any good, and does it deserve my 70, 80, 100 hours? So, we're starting to mix a lot of things in here. That's the and me of my Xbox and me, I guess. And yeah, I'm more than happy to have conversations like this about anything. But can you separate the art from the artist? No, I don't think you can. But if you then support that art, are you a bad person? No, I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know if that's the right answer, but that's where my head goes to right now. Until someone can have an argument with me and go back and forth with me and change my mind right now, no. If I hear somebody listening to R. Kelly, do I think they are a terrible human being? No, I don't. But I choose not to do that. And that's kind of where I come down personally.
I think that's very well put.
Next question comes from Sarah Squid 69 and says, everyone is hyped about games like Elden Ring, Horizon, God of War, Starfield, games that are considered to be Game of the Year in their own right. My question is, how hyped are you guys for the real Game of the Year? My Little Pony and Maritime Bay Adventure. From Sarah Squid 69. Sarah, you've always got you come out here with the super hot topic issue about art from the artist, and then you come through with My Little Pony. I love it. Thank you for your question, I guess, this week. I don't think any of us are playing My Little Pony, are we?
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, it's my Game of the Year.
Let me watch a trailer real
quick. I
quick.
forgot about it. I didn't remember about it until Sarah brought it up in this question.
While you watch a trailer, we're not seriously stand on this one. No, Sarah. No. I appreciate the question, but no, we're not doing it. Let's go into Top Flips, who says, recent leaks suggest Xbox could potentially be working on a new console under the code name Keystone. What do you think this could be potentially? Yeah, I've seen a lot of rumblings about this one on my Twitter feed, actually. I think Xbox Era had like a quote on their podcast about it, or not, was taking a quote, I should say, about it, how like it isn't something that we're all expecting. I don't know what it is. I have no clue at all. I would love it to be a handheld. I know the likelihood of that being the case is absolutely zero. I understand that, but
I don't think it's zero.
It's not zero.
Really?
I don't think it's zero because of xCloud.
Well, this is my point.
I don't I think
I've got my Kishi right here.
Yeah.
And with the conversation around like it being like it's not something people are expecting. So I don't think it's a smaller X. I don't think it's a smaller S. I don't even think it's the USB stick we've all been talking about for a while. I think it's a bigger play in xCloud. And for me, they've probably seen how Stream Deck's done, obviously, and that's been in the works for a really long time, and people are very hyped on that. Is now the time for Xbox to get something going in the handheld space for streaming? Not for anything. I'm not talking about VR and stuff like that, or Switch. I'm not even talking about a hybrid. I'm talking about just something for streaming.
I think the difficulty with that, especially releasing it sort of worldwide, is you need constant connection if you're to release a handheld. So it would be something that doesn't just rely on Wi-Fi, that you can get a mobile plan or whatever for, so that it can connect online. And I think that would be the question of like, can they partner up with I don't know what cell phone service providers you guys have in the UK, but in the US it would be like, can they partner up with a T-Mobile or something like that to get that coverage for the system.
You guys still got
Question.
T-Mobile?
Yeah.
We still have T-Mobile. They just
Oh, we
got
do?
bought and rebranded. They just got bought and rebranded.
EE, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, T-Mobile sucked over here. That's why. That being said, I'm with Free, which is even worse. So yeah, don't ask me about mine.
I think also owned by
yeah.
EE, but
Oh, okay, interesting.
we can do.
What do you think it is, Kresh?
I honestly, when I saw this, I thought handheld or streaming device for your home setup.
Okay.
Like not necessarily a dongle, maybe something a little bit bigger, or maybe a dongle, just something where you could stream in your home setup.
Okay.
The fact that it's not something you're going to expect makes me think it's neither of those things. I do think people expect it to be that, and I mean that could not be the case, right? But like,
I just also want to say that people who develop these things sometimes think like nobody's gonna expect this, even though everybody expects this.
Sure, that could definitely be what's going on.
Yeah, I just want to point that out.
My instinct was maybe some sort of new adaptive control. I know they say console. I don't know if that's what they actually mean. I don't know. We'll see. It's fun to speculate, but I have no idea.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. Honestly, I'm in a bit of a. Go on. You've got it, so hit me. Go on.
Do you think they would ever make an Xbox PC, like an Xbox branded PC, to sell?
I don't know how they haven't done that already.
Yeah. PCs
Don't you
are
get to a
really
point
tricky thing because like Steam's tried doing PCs. PCs are just super like kind of messy to do. But like with the Xbox mini fridge and stuff like that, like I could see them doing like an Xbox PC. But I don't know if this is what it is.
I'd buy the shit out
I think
of
it's
that.
kind of a weird thing.
I'd buy the shit out of it. I'm telling you now. Like anything with unfortunately I'm a sucker for anything with an Xbox logo on. I really am. It's horrible. And I'd as my second PC streaming PC, I'd 100% buy it. But again, that I think is more a case of like who they're gonna partner with. They're gonna partner with I don't know, Next or PC UK, like Overclockers UK over here, or Cyber Power.
Yeah.
So it's not. It's all that is a case. That's it. That's all it is a bloody case at that point.
But that's what, yeah.
That doesn't count as a
what it would end up
console.
being. Yeah, no, that's why I said particularly like an
yeah.
Xbox PC.
I saw a thing it was a while ago now, which was a monitor that plugs into the Series S and like attaches onto the Series S. That wasn't official Xbox, was it? I could see them doing something like that.
Nope. That is such a niche market, bro. That's the. Do you remember back in the day with the PS1? Like the screen you attached to it, bro. Like who needs that? And Xbox are playing in this world. They're playing in the streaming world. Do they really care about that?
They made an Xbox mini fridge.
Oh my god!
Talk about niche.
And
like if
talking about niche,
honest,
they make adaptive controllers, which is very niche. Like they're
But
worthwhile, and
adaptive controllers serve a very important purpose.
Yeah,
100%.
Like they're like
but PlayStation are making them.
That's very true. But like that's accessibility on Microsoft's part, as opposed to, oh, we're gonna go into and cater to this niche market. That's an accessibility thing.
Fair.
I just when they say it says console, right? And I remember the quote, like some stuff coming out about console. I'm like, what else? They're not making another SKU. The chips are already in such a bad place where it's like they ain't making another SKU. They get rid of the S already? No way.
They could make a like upgraded SKU that just has more hard drive space.
Or they do a new Xbox Series X SKU where they're using the different silicone material for the outside, because that's why there's more Series S's available than Series X's. But I think that
stuff
something
seems
people
predictable
would expect.
though. It's all very.
I think Kresh is right in that somebody's said, you're not going to expect this, and actually it'll come out and everybody will go, well, that wasn't totally left field, was it? Like, that was pretty expectable. I think that'll be the case.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Thank you for the question. We appreciate you. Where are we? Sarah Squid comes in with another one. At the 46-minute and 57-second mark of last week's podcast, Kresh is telling Matt that Snapchat is only good for white people. In brackets, true. And Fix says, and I quote, "This is why Kresh gets invited to the dinner table, people. All I want to know, Jesus. I want you all to understand Kresh can come to Nan's house for dinner because he gets it. My question is, what's for dinner? As we as a community have spent the past 3 years asking for hashtag dinner date with Kresh, and Fix finally confirmed it, what is Nan gonna make for dinner date for the dinner date? Or is the pizza that Matt owes Fix going to be redeemed for the dinner date? Is Matt going to watch from the outside from a window since since he wasn't invited to Nan's house because of his privilege? I mean, we need the details, gentlemen. There is no way that Jinx TV's Twitch partnered and featured content creator for IGN and GameSpot, MC Fixer, would lie to his community about this dinner date. The M in MC Fixer stands for Man of Honor, and the C... and the C stands for can't tell a lie. The Fixer stands for nothing. That's just his name. But the point is, the dinner date has been promised. It's time to celebrate. Sarah, thank you very much for your question. I appreciate it. Do you know what? You know when we get stuff like this? This is when I get worried. This is when I get worried about this podcast and anything I do on the internet. Because I'm just talking. Words are just coming out of my mouth. I don't think anybody's actually listening. Sarah is listening. Fair. I don't know about anybody else, but Sarah is listening. Kresh already knows. Look, Kresh gets invited to the dinner table, and when he comes to London, I'll take him for a dinner date. Guaranteed. Promise.
There you go.
There you go. What are we going to have? Domino's.
If you Fix it, it'll be the best meal of my life.
No, let's be honest. If we're keeping it 100, Matt will probably be there because Kresh will be over, and and Haley, of course, and we'll all probably go for Nando's. If we're keeping it 100, more than likely. And Kresh is gonna go, that's it? Because it ain't that nice. Like, I love Nando's, but it ain't that good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
But
it's okay.
That's everybody's fast food of choice because it's just fast food, right? It's like anywhere you go, it's like it's good and you love it because it's like a local thing that you can go to and you're like the quality is going to be pretty consistent. But then when you go to try someone else's fast food, it's like that wasn't.
It's like in Texas, everybody talks about Whataburger, and I had that, and I was like, yeah, it's exactly what I expected it to be.
Cool. Last question this week in Fix a Sack. Original Cookie Man says, continuing in the theme, if you could invite any video game character to dinner, who would you invite and why? Ooh.
It's a good question.
It's a great question. If I could invite one video game character.
I got an answer.
Yeah, please.
Chief. Because I want to see what's behind the mask, and he's got to take off the mask.
All you got to do is watch this crap-looking TV show. You'll be fine.
That's fair.
Hey, great minds.
Wasn't that like £1 million an episode? Didn't they say £1 million an episode?
Did you see they've confirmed that they haven't even seen the games? I saw that the other day. Where it was like,
they didn't.
We're not basing this off of the games. And I'm like, that works so well for Resident Evil. It works so well for Resident Evil.
Halo, to be fair, Halo's more than its games. Halo has the novels. Halo has like a whole world to explore.
And that
there's
full
problems
quote,
with that statement. Go ahead, Matt.
A lot of people were taken out of context a little bit as well. They said like when we were talking to the people from 343, we didn't talk about the games. We talked about the world and the characters. We didn't talk about the games. And so to me, what that actually means is they talked a lot about story, but they don't need to know you're pressing X to pick up a fucking grab hammer.
Here's this mission.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah,
Fix just wants to hate on it because he's Fix.
Oh, let me make it very clear. I don't think it'll be good, but Hey,
I think it'll be better than what people expect. I think
we're gonna
people are
watch it, right?
expecting
We're gonna
Final
watch it
Fight.
and chat about it on the
Absolutely
pod.
not.
You're not gonna
Fix-
watch
fix
it.
watch it.
We don't even know what it's on over here, do we?
No,
That's
we
a good
don't yet.
point.
Number one,
I'll
I
watch
don't
it. I'll let you
support
guys know.
pirating, so I won't be pirating it. And number two, no, I don't care. Okay,
What if people say it's like the best TV show this year?
I'm watching The Office, mate. I don't care. I am on season 6 of The Office. We still got 4 more seasons. And I'm
I see.
watching, what's the thing about the train? Snowpiercer. Oh, banger. Love that show.
Oh wow, yeah, okay.
Yeah. The TV show, not the film.
You're Mr. Old Game is old, and yet TVs and movies, you're just like, I'm not gonna watch anything that was made in the last decade.
Snowpiercer was made
fresh.
relatively
The
recently.
new season just came out. It's on
Really?
Netflix. It's
you're
a
thinking of the
TV show.
movie, Matt.
You're
I'm thinking
thinking
of
the
the movie,
film.
yeah.
No, the TV show.
I didn't realize they did a TV
Fix
show
even
for
made
it.
a distinction.
I
The
just
TV
said
show,
not the
movie.
bro. This kid does not listen. Like,
I'm not.
what the
I'm
hell?
not listening.
Matt
I'm
was
He's
hungover,
hungry.
leave me
He's
alone.
so
to, like,
hungover.
rip into you. Matt was just ready, like, oh, I'm going to give it to Fix right now. He just said Snowpiercer. All the times he's talked about me talking about PlayStation, he's going get it.
I'd pick Dom. No, Marcus. Who does the tomatoes? Man, I need to play Gears. Crash, you want to play
That's
through
dumb.
Gears with me?
I'm down.
Should we just stream it and just play through all the Gears games again?
Let's do
I'm
it.
with it.
I'm down.
No.
You can play Gears 3 with us.
Why the fuck is he inviting himself?
Gears is 2 players, man.
This guy. Gears 1 and 2 is 2 players. Gears 3 you can play with us. Gears 4 you can't play with us.
2 players.
Is that right? Gears 5
2
is
players.
4-player.
No.
Right?
No, co-op.
No?
Yeah.
There's the Horde mode that's 4 players.
Matt,
Yeah.
I tell you what, once
I
we're
played that the
finished,
other
we'll
day.
play Horde mode with you.
Okay.
Offline.
Wait, Matt,
Not
you haven't
streaming.
played Gears of War, right?
No, I haven't played. I played Gears 1, 2, and 3.
Why don't we
I-
go game for game? So you do 1 with him and I'll do 2 with him, and then we all do 3 together. Then 4.
So I went from not getting
God.
invited to doing it now on like being
Yes.
the guy.
I've never played Gears of War, and this is an Xbox podcast, and I feel like,
I have
play
played
Gears
Gears of War. I haven't played Gears 5. Oh, that's not true. I
That's the
put
only one
like
you've
3
played?
hours into it.
So why did
Or
you say you
4,
didn't
or
play Gears of
Judgment.
War?
Judgment don't count. You haven't got to play
Okay,
that
Judgment is a
Or
fake
Tactics.
game. You know Mandela Effect? That's what Judgment is. Judgment never existed.
Okay, cool.
one. Facts.
Seems like an argument.
We didn't answer your question. Yeah, I don't know. Cooking Mama. She makes good food, right?
Oh, they got to cook the food as well?
I don't know.
That's a
No.
different question.
No, it's just dinner date. I wouldn't invite any character.
Chris Redfield from Resident Evil. I want to know how he punched that boulder without any virus in his body. Like, bruh, how did you do
He's
that?
Bro, have you seen his muscles, bro?
I
That
have,
should
but
be a
I'm
good
like, bro, how
question.
did you punch that boulder so hard that it moved? And you punched it multiple times without breaking your hand.
Have you
Yeah.
seen the dude is literally a work of art. His body. You know how much work he put into that body?
That's
Fix, you put
facts.
the amount of time Chris Redfield put into his body, and you'd be able to do that, no problem.
Yeah? You reckon?
Yeah, I guaranteed it. Crash's stamp of approval. Go
All
start
I'm saying
working
is,
out.
we've never seen Chris Redfield lift a single weight ever in Resident Evil. Yet my guy is built like a brick shit house. Like, what the
That's
hell?
true.
Let's get into what's been in our box, shall we? Kresh, let's start with you, buddy. What you been playing?
I finished Elden Ring.
Yeah.
It's done. It's
Oh,
completed.
congratulations.
Thank you.
How is it?
It's good. It's good. It's really, really good. I will say, I know we talked about difficulty with the game and like, is it the easiest? I know we've had this. I'm going to land
Definitively
on
say.
it is definitively say it is the easiest Souls game.
Ah, okay.
And the reason being because of the Ashes of War and the magic and abilities available.
Why did Matt P look like he just died inside?
Did I? Sorry. That was me being hungover and zoning out for a second. Just listening. Just enjoying the podcast.
Sorry, go on, Chris.
Because of abilities and Ashes of War and stuff like that, I think it is the easiest game because you can make yourself very overpowered very easily. in any type of build you want to go for.
Does that make it a bad, worse game?
No. I actually think that's fun personally. Like figuring out, oh, this is what my build's gonna look like, and this is finally achieving that and having that level of overpoweredness in some situations. Not every build is great for every boss as well, but having that level, I think it's dope. I like it. I also played Young Souls, which is a game on Game Pass. It is a what would you call it? A beat 'em up game, I guess.
Oh, I love beat 'em
RPG
ups.
type game.
Did you invite me?
I don't think this game would be for you. It's not co-op. It's not a beat 'em up the way you're thinking beat 'em up, because you're thinking like Streets of Rage, right?
Nope.
Yeah. I guess hack and slash would be more correct word for this. That doesn't feel right for it either, though. I don't know. It's an okay game. It's all right. You play twin sisters who have to go save a professor who adopted them, got stolen by, I think it's trolls or something. I forget exactly what it is.
You're selling this game so well.
It's been a while since I played it at this point, so I don't even have like a fresh description on my head.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's a fine game. It's on Game Pass because you're looking for something to play. But I know Tunic's out as well, so I don't know. I haven't played Tunic yet, but I don't know if I would recommend this.
Hearing really good things about Tunic, yeah.
Yeah.
So, bro, like me, is that everything, Kresh? You got something more?
I have one more game.
Oh,
Strangers Paradise Final Fantasy Origins, which is the Souls-like Final Fantasy game.
What a terrible name. It's a horrible name.
But let me just tell you, this name fits with this game so much because it's going to be a slight spoiler. It's not really a spoiler, but it's a spoiler.
So if you're ready, slight spoiler. It's not really a spoiler. Mute for a second. I'm going to wave my hands if you're watching on YouTube in 3, 2, 1.
Okay. So there's this one point where the main character you play as, Jack, is talking to another character and they're explaining what chaos is as a concept. And Jack doesn't like the answer. So he says, bullshit, turns around, pulls out his phone and starts playing Limp Bizkit. And that's it. Cutscene to the next part. That is so like the name with like that sort of writing, like the writing is.
We are back.
The writing is atrocious in this game. It's not that good. And every time I was loading up the game, I was like, oh man, I could be playing Elden Ring. I will say, once I got into the game, every time it was like, I forgot Elden Ring existed. I enjoyed the game. The game is fun.
Okay.
Like, the gameplay is cool. I think the whole class system of being able to switch and mix and match and stuff like that, I think all that works really well and is fun. Level design is kind of weird. Like a lot of the stuff this game does feels kind of dated, like it's PS2 era type of game with a lot of the game design decisions they choose, unfortunately. Yeah, and not to say it's a bad experience, it's just not. I don't think it's a $60 worth experience. I think like at the $40 mark, this would be a great experience. If you like Neo, there's a lot of Neo-esque aspects to this game. But the one thing when I was playing it wasn't even like, oh, I want to go play Elden Ring. A lot of times I was getting a thought of like, oh, I want to play Neo because Neo's a better experience of this for the most part. Yeah.
Fair enough. Matt, we've been playing, bud.
Just Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Just all of the Elden Ring. I am constantly blown away by how big that game is. Like, there are bits of the map where I'm like, I haven't really gone to this bit, but maybe it's just a bit of wasteland. There's nothing there. No, there's shitloads of stuff there to do, and it's somewhere I should have been. And it's like it's the scale of that world and how well it's executed is phenomenal.
I've been playing a game I can't talk about. And I've also been playing some more of that WWE 2K22. Yeah, I'm happy to say that it's a really good game. Like, really good game. We finally got a fun and enjoyable WWE game out of 2K, because I don't think they have nailed it once in the past, if I'm being totally honest with you. I've been playing a lot more of the faction mode than I expected to. So the faction mode is similar to their like FIFA Ultimate Team mode sort of thing. Like, you got your contracts, you create your superstars, and you're leveling them up, you're building different cards, and stuff like that. And I'm just, instead of playing like a normal arcade mode match, I'd much rather jump in there and feel like I'm constantly always building to something, you know? Go on.
So is this against other people?
So no, this is against the
Other-
computer.
Got
So
it.
this is so there's a mode that I'm currently doing. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's like certain amount of wins get you different rewards. And like I saw I don't know if it's been patched yet or not, but I did see on TikTok they were like, quickest way to get through faction mode. It's like go out the ring, pick up a weapon, get back in the ring. The computer will take the weapon off you and then hit you with it and get DQ'd. So if you do that 300 times, you can unlock all the cards. That's not how I'm playing it because I actually want to enjoy the game. But yeah, I'm having a great time playing that mode. I created my character for my career mode the other day on stream because I was going to stream it because I was waiting to do something else. Ended up creating a character, got that first opening cutscene and hadn't started. So I can't talk too much about the career mode yet. The plan is to do it next week. I'm thinking about doing a YouTube series on it. So that's kind of why I've been stumbling with it, where I'm like, do I want to do this? Do I not? Do I want to? I think I might, just because I'm not really uploading a lot on my YouTube channel currently, any of them. And this could be a great place to start. But yeah, I'm happy to say that I am thoroughly impressed with WWE 2K22. It is by far 2K's best efforts in the WWE games so far. I really like the character customization, but I also really hate it because of how slow it is. And this is what I was talking about on my first impressions last week, which is like, I'm pretty sure if I sat in there, I could get my character to look like me. It takes too long. Everything takes too long to load. And that at that point, I'm just like, I'm good. They've got some amazing, you can create titles, you can create rings, entrances, all the stuff you expect in a WWE game. And it all looks beautiful. And I think that's the key moment. So if you are somebody who hasn't played a WWE game in 10 years, and you're like, I really want to play one, I do think WWE 2K22 is the one to play. Because it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So, yeah, hopefully I'll be able to talk about career mode next week. But on just a mechanical level, graphical level, level of polish, a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Should we get into this week's dashboard, boys?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
This week's dashboard is brought to you by... No, I'm joking. There's no that. This week's dashboard, we're going to get into the news real quickly. Metacritic reveals that Xbox was the top review games publisher of last year. This one was taken from Windows Central. Xbox Game Studios is publishing branch of Xbox that contains many of the Xbox's first-party studios. It was a huge year in 2021 for Xbox Game Studios in general, with sizable releases. We had, what did we have? Thinking about it, we had Forza, Halo, Psychonauts, Flight Sim. Oh, what else? There's a bunch that I'm missing. I know we had a few more that didn't speak to me personally, but there was a few. There was
Ascent.
The Ascent, that weren't first party. That's third.
Right, you are.
But yeah, they went through and aggregated like who was the top publisher of the year, and it was Xbox. Xbox, the Metacritic games publisher ranked compare. Sorry, I missed a bunch of text there. This time around, Xbox Game Studios ended on top. The Metacritic games publisher ranking compared 43 games publisher of all of the respective reviews and games that made an appearance on Metacritic in 2022. At the top of the charts was Xbox Game Studios with 5 separately reviewed products featuring an average of 87.4. This makes Xbox Game Studios the first publisher in history to close out the year with an average of 85 or higher. There was a question here from Original Cookie Man who says, do you think that 2021 will mark the beginning of a, quote, golden gaming age for Microsoft, or is critically acclaimed overrated? Critically acclaimed is overrated. Because I'm sorry, I love Xbox more than a lot of people on this earth, and like I said, I'll buy anything with an Xbox logo on it, but I had a terrible year last year for gaming. Psychonauts didn't click for me. Flight Sim's not a game that I care about. Forza, I absolutely adore but didn't play nowhere near of, yeah, that means my lifestyle was changed as well as. But if a game gets me, it gets me. I bought a steering wheel for Forza. No, if you're asking me, critically acclaimed's overrated. If you enjoy a 7 and that's something that you enjoy, perfect. Doesn't matter if it gets a 90 or a 85 or whatever it is on Metacritic, you know? What about you guys? Are critically acclaimed overrated?
Yeah, I think so. Look, I think it was still a really good year for Microsoft. Clearly, a lot of those games didn't click with Fix, obviously, but did click with a lot of people. You know, I still have friends who still play Forza and Flight Sim almost every day. And yeah, they might not be our cups of tea, but they are for somebody. And I think Microsoft's doing a really good job of having that variety in there. And it's capturing a lot of people.
You're muted, Kresh.
Oh, bloody 2022.
I think critically acclaimed also doesn't speak to popularity, right? You can have a whole bunch of like super, you can have a whole bunch of 10 out of 10s, but if nobody, or if not that, because I don't want to say nobody, because people cared about these games, but
Absolutely.
it wasn't sort of the totality of gaming that were like, oh, look at what Xbox is doing. And for golden age of Xbox to come, if it hasn't already, because I would argue that the 360 generation, even with a lack of games, you could argue is the golden age for Xbox.
Yeah.
That I could see Xbox doing it with all the studios they have and all the games they have coming out if those work out. I think the problem with like looking at it and like, oh, Xbox is gonna have a golden age is like the assumption that all those games will be successful and all those studios and all their endeavors would be successful. And I think that's kind of presumptuous to make at this point.
Are Xbox gonna put a game out
this year?
Like, I'd love to. Like, I'm just waiting for like, what are we waiting on? What's the first one to come up? I can't even think. What's the first game Xbox are publishing this year?
So many games still just have vague 22 release dates, right? 2022 release dates.
I would assume we'll know when. The thing we have guaranteed is Starfield, but I assume we'll know when E3 hits, or if they're doing their show in May. Apparently, like, I don't know the whole situation, but people are giving counteracting answers to that, whether it's going to be in May or.
Well, E3's dead. We all know that. So.
Right, but I mean, like, Xbox's E3 event. Well, yeah. E3 online is still happening. It hasn't been canceled, right? I don't believe it's been canceled.
It's dead, mate.
Still, E3's still happening.
It's dead.
Everybody still talks about it like E3, but we all know it's going to be the Xbox summer, whatever, right? Like, everybody's just doing that now, and so I think coming in May would be a good thing for him. I think hitting in May and ahead of everybody else. But
you know it's over for companies like that now, because even like over here in the UK, I don't know if they're doing it in the US or not, but 2K are having their own event in the UK. 2K are doing I think it's called WASDA over here, and it's being held at Tobacco Dock, where they used to hold EGX, which they no longer hold EGX there. And it's the only games that I think they've announced so far that are playable is Tiny Tina, WWE, and NBA. And I'm like, so you guys are charging tickets for your own show to show your own games, and they're like, and we're gonna have special guests and talks and all that stuff. And I'm like, this is gonna be the new norm. Like these events are done for out here. Every company has woken up to the fact they could do it themselves.
Honestly, like, I think the game and the reveal that sort of is the prediction for all of this is actually Apex Legends. When they had the reveal for Apex Legends and they were doing the teaser and all that stuff, and so many people were like clued into that, as sort of like, because after that we saw more games and more studios start doing that once E3 messes up once significantly, and even something like Game Fest, which is supposed to be like a collaborative event, sort of missteps, it's like, okay, well, we can do this on our own and we'll be fine, especially with like PlayStation stepping away doing their own thing and Xbox doing their own thing.
They will still exist, E3 like events. They will just be for indies, and like, you know, we're seeing some incredible indie games come out, and they just don't have that cachet that a PlayStation or an Xbox have to do their own event. And so those those events will still exist for those games, but how many people go to those events and the kind of eyeballs they get for indie developers, it's better than nothing, and so they're going to keep doing it. But you're going to see a drop off in attendance, I would have thought.
100%.
Yeah.
Next up, Starfield developer diary discusses the game's open world freedom. Kresh, talk to me about this one. You read it? You know what's going on there?
Yes, I watched it. They had a little sit down and a conversation about Starfield and sort of where they're going with it. They talked about the persuasion system. They talked about like the world they're trying to build and sort of the open world idea of it and factions and things of that nature. And it's all very RPG world building stuff that I think actually for me, and I think this isn't a good thing for me, got me more into it and excited for the game because I don't think it's going to live up to what I want it to be at this point.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I did like everything I heard and everything they said. They showed a bunch of concept art. I thought the concept art looked cool. The idea of a conversation, not sort of picking one option. It's like you're having a full on conversation with somebody and like sort of you want them to get to an end goal and the whole conversation has to lead up to that point as opposed to like just picking an answer and it being that, right? It is like you're having back and forth with that.
That's
NPC.
cool.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Evolution of picking your answers sort of thing.
Yeah, persuasion system. They said they had something like that, and it ended up being an evolution of an Oblivion system. I think they said that they had, and I haven't played Oblivion, so I don't really know.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm very excited for Starfield. But I need they should do what PlayStation did with Hogwarts, right? And like we need like a 14-minute tight presentation. Here's everything in the game. That you're going to be doing.
Xbox's showcase. Yeah, Xbox's
showcase. Yeah, 100%, 100%. I would just quite like, and I don't think we'll get it, but a thing that's dedicated to Starfield. And then that is almost separate. I know.
You're trying to apply the Sony method or the Nintendo method to Xbox, and it's just not what Xbox do. Xbox go out there on a grand stage with millions of people watching and go, okay, we have your attention. Now look at what we have to show you for 2 hours. That is what Xbox do. So even Sony showcases have been not great the last few years because they do these smaller showcases, which, don't get me wrong, I'm very happy that they do them because I as a consumer can consume them better than what we get currently with Xbox. But Xbox do drive hype more than Sony in terms of these type of games, like because you see nothing.
Yeah. But this is also like a typical Bethesda thing. Like I know I've seen people complaining about not seeing Starfield, and it's like this is Bethesda. Like whether they were under Microsoft or not, like you wouldn't be seeing the game at this point, right?
Yep.
I'm kind of surprised they're even talking about the game at this point, to be honest. Like even telling us more about it. Not surprising as like, oh, it's super left field.
But they're hardcore people. I guarantee if I would have missed this if you didn't add it on the notes. So 100%. I think this is a Bethesda community that we support and love, and thank you everything you've been doing for us for our entire careers. Let me give you a nugget of something, like like this isn't bigger than that.
Right.
Next one, Perfect Dark's reboot reportedly sees staff departures due to slow development progression. Nah, I don't want to. This isn't a gloat thing, but we knew this was coming, right? I don't know how many times we have to talk about Perfect Dark. I just don't see Perfect Dark as the IP that this quadruple A, remember? That's how they touted this studio. Quadruple A.
To be fair, I think it was a PR company that labeled it quadruple A.
Whatever. It got out there.
Yeah.
That's what happens with PR, all right?
No, that's true.
Quadruple A. This was going to be the creme de la creme. This was the studio to take on Naughty Dog.
Yeah, but like to be fair, I don't think you make a studio. You can just make a studio and have it run smoothly to take on Naughty Dog, right?
100%.
I think have you read any of the stuff around this?
No, not yet.
So a lot of the people leaving are leaving because like nothing's happening and
Yeah.
the game's going very slowly. And I think that's partly on Xbox being very hands off with this game. Like we
Okay.
want the best product possible and we want the best game possible. So we're gonna let the people working on the game work it until it's good. And I think that's usually a positive thing when you have a studio that's cohesive and understands what it's doing. I don't know if it's the best thing when you're making a new studio that you sort of want to figure out what works where.
This was always the problem, though. I remember when there were people joining early on in the stages to get the studio to the state it's in currently, and then they've departed before. It's like, what is it you're doing here? Like, what are you trying to build here? Yeah, it's a weird one for me. Let's bring in top list question. It says, given all the departures from the initiative, are you guys worried about Perfect Dark reboot? I was worried before this. I just don't see Perfect Dark as a killer IP. I never have. I don't think I ever will. Even the tease, like the weird teaser thing that they did give us, which clearly was just to feed us something at this point, clearly.
Yeah.
Because this game is nowhere near ready. We've still got 3 or 4 years probably before this even comes out. Like, does anyone on this panel, anyone on this podcast, do we care about Perfect Dark?
They could care. I think they could get me to care. But yeah, look, it's super concerning that it's taken this long and it's not going anywhere and people are leaving because of that. Like, yeah, you'd be better off. I know, like, they need these big IPs, they need these big quadruple A games, whatever the hell that means. But like, if you're making a brand new studio like this, why not just get something small out the door? A more focused project where you can, reel the scope in a bit and say, right, now you've got one project under your belt. Now I have Perfect Dark.
Hold that there.
Seems
Go on, Kresh, go on. Add into bring in Michael's question.
I was just gonna say that like Coalition came. They made the Coalition. Oh no, they bought the Coalition. It was Black Dust Studios.
Yes, and then renamed it.
Never mind. Yeah, never mind.
This was the first studio under Phil Spencer. Yeah, they built 343.
Yeah, and they made Halo right away. To Matt's point of like,
sure.
make a studio, make a small game.
Yeah.
Not a amazingly well received Halo.
Oh, I'm not saying
gameplay wise was decent though. It was just the story that was the big problem there.
Sure.
So, but sure. Michael has this to say: with the news of Perfect Dark's production seemingly slowed in order to achieve a better balance for their staff and resulting in a significant delay, are games revealed too soon? What is the ideal reveal and release timeline? And he adds, Resident Evil 7's was perfect, in my opinion. I think 6 months.
I think 6 months.
The problem with that is you lose all steam when something like this gets leaked. So, and again, you've got hundreds upon hundreds of people working on this. It's going to get leaked. Look at Harry Potter. If we hadn't seen a single thing from Harry Potter, then we got this new trailer, we'd be even more blown away by it.
Sure. Fallout 4 didn't leak. I don't remember that leaking.
That leaked? That leaked?
Did it?
Yes.
Oh, I don't remember it leaking.
I'm pretty sure Jason Schreier had a leak on that.
Maybe.
He got blacklisted by Bethesda.
I'd be surprised. I don't think it was for Fallout 4. It might have been. I don't remember correctly exactly.
Yeah, go on.
I wouldn't be surprised if it is true and it did leak. But just putting that out there.
I think release times are 6 months ahead. Like that would be the ideal time. But A, you have to deal with leaks, and B, Microsoft was in a position where they just need to build hype for stuff they have coming out. Right? Is they want to build hype for their brand. They want eyes on them. They want people to know like we have big games coming out at some point in our franchise future. Unfortunate that this all happened, but I would be surprised if somebody at Microsoft said like, yeah, we didn't expect something like this to happen. We didn't expect there to be delays. We expect this game to be out in 2022. I would be shocked if anybody said that at Microsoft. This was probably the idea.
Yeah, and also like, there are so many more factors that go into announcing a game other than, do we actually think it's going to hit this date? Like, they want to build hype, they want to get pre-orders, they want to get money on the books, they want to sell consoles. You know, that was a big push sort of last year before, to just announce a load of games. Like, we have a title screen, that's all we need, because we need to build hype and sell these consoles. And so, there's so many factors that go into it. But yeah, of course, games are always announced too early.
Yeah. Also, like, games take a long time to be made and developed. So I don't think there's necessarily a problem with the studio being like, okay, we want to tell people that we're working on this game. Like, Warner Brothers announced the Wonder Woman game. I have no issue with them having announced the Wonder Woman game this early. I would have an issue if they start going into gameplay mechanics and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, it doesn't end up being this because stuff changes in the process.
Sure.
That's what happens when you look at like Cyberpunk and CD Projekt Red. There's a whole bunch of stuff that feels like it got cut and people were rightfully burned by it. But like, that's what happens in development. Like, you figure out like, oh, stuff like this won't work, or it doesn't work as smoothly as we want it to, or it doesn't fit in with the change in trajectory for the overall game. I think that's where you get an issue.
Sure.
Where was Fallout 4 based? Does anyone remember?
Boston.
Perfect. So in 2012, IGN put out an article, will Fallout 4 be set in Boston? Fallout 4 didn't come out till 2015.
Sure, and I remember that story. It's because somebody saw a load of Bethesda employees walking around Boston taking photos.
No. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, users scouting is currently
So
on.
that's,
Yeah.
Is that do you consider that a leak?
Is that a leak?
I don't think.
Yeah,
that's a leak.
of course it's a leak.
No, it's not.
That's not
It's
Fallout 4 is
like,
coming in and set in Boston.
That's people making the assumption that Fallout 4 is coming out, and like, oh, there's Bethesda workers in Boston. That's not a leak. That's not like, oh, Fallout 4 is set in Boston. We have info on it, etc.
That story would have still been written if it was wrong.
Okay.
It's not a leak.
I mean, okay. All right, fine.
It doesn't matter anyway.
I'm pretty sure there was more leaks than just that as well, but yeah.
I'm sure.
Okay.
My only point for that was saying that, like, just because hundreds of people are working on something doesn't mean it's automatically going to get leaked. It's definitely very likely that it will get leaked. The more people you have working on a project, the more people who know about a thing. But I mean, look, they faked the moon landing, and they managed to keep that shtum, so...
We're not doing this.
That's not a good joke.
Nope. We're not doing this. Nope. Moving on. Another.
I don't actually think they faked the moon landing.
I did read about this one.
Can we erase that part from the podcast? Just cut that out.
Too much work. No thanks. Another story is it's another one. Despite its beauty, beautiful Ori games, Moon Studios is called an oppressive place to work. Gaming fans know Moon Studio for its amazing Ori games with beautiful art and emotional stories, but a number of its current and former employees considered the Ori Studio an oppressive place to work. That is according to GamesBeat interview with Moon Studios developers. From what I've read of this, it was like it was a lot of language, but not like it weren't. I don't know. Did you read all this, Kresh? I saw a lot of tweets about it, and then I saw a lot of people's opinions about it, and then I read it, and I was like, okay, I didn't know where I came down on it.
So the studio has a policy, which is you won't get punished for what you say policy, essentially. Is like, you can say whatever, and like, it's a free space to talk. The problem is, like, when you have people making like racist jokes and sexist jokes and stuff like that. And like, at one point, there was a beat in I think it was for Ori actually, where they were like, the main character will get raped, and that'll be the character's like growth. They'll go.
Someone said that.
Yeah, and people pushed against it, and then I think it was actually the head of the studio. Don't quote me on that. That like really pushed for it for multiple weeks. Another thing that came out with this story is that not only that, but like Microsoft also had bad relations with Moon Studio and their communication and stuff like that, and that's why Microsoft hasn't really been associated with them. And that also might be why
they never bought them.
Microsoft should buy Moon Studios.
There's a reason why.
Yeah, and so it's like this sucks. This actually like is really, really bad. This is a case where it's like allowing like complete free reign of like what can be said at a studio isn't always a positive thing. Like it's great to allow people to talk their mind and their piece, but at a certain point it's like that's too far. That's not really a workplace thing, and that's not something you should be saying to your coworkers.
The problem, 100%, I agree with you. I think the problem you've got is when you're trying to create a piece of art, right? Like us sitting here now, yeah? We make a podcast. We don't need to talk about racism, sexism, rape, anything like that, because we don't make that type of art. That type of art in stories does exist. So the conversations then do have to be had to even get that into a piece of art, right? And I think, again, it always imagine I am terrible with my words. Awful. Don't know how I've survived this long on the podcast. Gotta be honest with you. But imagine I am ahead of a game studio. Me. And then I'm like, and you know what? For fuck's sake, yeah? And then Ori's gonna get fucking raped. Someone is going to take that in a way of like, the fuck is this guy on? Like, no way. Why is he speaking like that, right? Go on.
I think like if it's made as a story beat, like like that's a whole different conversation of whether that topic should be a story beat or not.
Yeah.
But the problem is when the same person making that story beat is also making sexist remarks.
100%.
And things of that nature. And I think that's where the problem really comes. Like it's not just a story beat, and it's not something that's like sort of shouldn't be in the story or whatever. It's when there's other stuff attached to it as well. It's a pattern of things.
Just for clarification, I'm playing devil's advocate on the argument that I do not agree with, all right? Just so people are very clear before I get clipped up or some shit and you don't give the full context. But yeah, no, it's bro, this is what happens when you get successful as well. Because people's heads go through the roof and then you start shooting from the hip even more so about certain things. I don't understand the open policy of speaking at a workplace. I understand it in a meeting room where you're talking about sensitive subjects. Like, okay, everyone's got to get their thoughts out there. But yeah, no, racism, sexism, bullying, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Nah.
It seems like there needed to be someone. Where was HR during this whole thing? Like, do they have HR? They
probably don't.
Do they care? Yeah.
They probably don't. They're probably small enough that.
Fortunately.
How big is Moon Studios? I bet you it's small enough that it's one person who runs PR, 80 employees.
To be fair,
as of 2020, 80 employees in Austria.
To be fair, HR is usually on the company side and not on the person side as well.
Yeah.
A lot of times. So.
What does this mean for their next game?
I won't care for it.
Yeah?
Yeah, no.
Matt?
Not for me,
Go on. Sorry.
As long as the head of the studio and like there isn't shift in that studio, like I don't care for it personally.
Ori has never grabbed me. Like I know there are a lot of people that really love it, and visually I get it's stunning and stuff, but I've tried them, and I've bounced off them very quickly, and it's never really grabbed me. So I'm not sure I would be massively hyped for it anyway. And it comes back to the conversation again before of removing art from the artist and what have you. It's case by case basis, and if it's really that bad there, that's horrible and that sucks.
Absolutely.
And so we'll see when the next game gets announced. We'll have this discussion again, I'm sure, and there'll be more information around this and more proof potentially and stuff. And so, we'll keep an eye on it, I guess. Keep chatting about it. Keep having the conversation.
Keep supporting the people who come out and say these things are happening at these studios.
Yeah.
Do not not believe them. Do not support them. Do not listen to their stories. Again,
100%.
Yeah. It's a man. Damn. It's so hard out there, man. It's so hard out there for people, and I'm just like, gee. It's so weird for this type of game as well. Like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Not that it does. That sounds weird. Like I'm okay with it happening at Activision stuff like that. But I kind of expect it more. at a studio that makes Call of Duty for some reason.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then a game that is Ori, I'm like,
because Ori's like, whether you like Ori or not, Ori is a beautiful game, and you
100%.
associate with all these things, and then you see this, and that's like, it's like a, what's it called? Oxymoron paradox. It's like a paradox where those two things just don't seem to fit.
Yeah.
But that thing definitely made this, and it's like that shouldn't have happened. Yeah.
Moving on. Matt P, I love this one. Skull and Bones, long delayed Ubisoft pirate game, opens up applications for public testing. Ubisoft's inviting a select number of players to play test its pirate game, Skull and Bones. Its new insider program, spotted by Eurogamer, will let you carefully select players access a very early version of the game in order to get feedback to. Matt, you sign up?
I am literally signing up as we speak.
You'll have to sign an NDA. You're not going to be able to talk about it.
And that's fine. That's fine. I'm okay with that.
Here's what I will say, Fix. I know you wanted this to be a third-person pirate game or whatever, and that's where you thought I was going to go. I don't think that happens if they're having public testing. I think it's strictly a boat game.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Did we make a pizza bet?
We did.
Can't remember.
I believe we did. Kresh will check.
Yum.
We'll check. Next up, Capcom announces a dinosaur battle action exoprimal game. This was probably the biggest letdown of that state of play, the one previous to the one you guys watched. Dude, how does Capcom come out with a dinosaur game that isn't Dino Crisis?
Can I just say our last podcast was incredibly predictive? Like, we predicted so much stuff that came out this week.
What do you mean?
And I just want to say, we talked about Dino Crisis.
We did.
We talked about Dino Crisis. We talked about Batman's release date. Gotham
Knights,
yeah,
you're right. That did happen straight away.
We talked about Harry Potter, which ended up getting a state of play.
Yeah.
We talked about talked about Skull and Bones again. That was prompted by a Sarah Squid question.
Shout out Sarah.
Shout out Sarah. Like, we were very predictive, and one thing I said that I want to just say I predicted, and it's the truest thing I've ever said, is that Dino Crisis is dead and gone.
Does this prove it? Does this prove it?
Yes.
I think so.
You said it. Like, how are they releasing a
dinosaur game?
How are they releasing a dinosaur game that isn't Dino Crisis? They're doing it, which means Dino Crisis is dead.
Yeah.
Okay. Fun. Yeah, I couldn't give two craps about this game. This game, it looked like trash. Sorry to be that guy. But, like, I was watching it and I was like, this doesn't... Maybe it didn't interest me even more so because it wasn't Dino Crisis as well. So, like, I saw dinosaurs and I'm like, man, Dino Crisis is in a different space. And then...
You know what this made me want? Anthem. It made me want Anthem.
Yeah.
Anthem.
Yeah. Oh, man. A good Anthem.
I don't like the face you're making it. Matt.
Did you ever play Anthem, Matt?
I played, 2-3 hours of Anthem.
2-3 hours? Me and Kresh put 15 hours on PC, then another 50 hours on Xbox. We were playing Anthem, baby.
That gameplay in Anthem was so good.
So good.
That's just the hater.
He's a super hater.
Then again, Matt's game of the year was
you don't remember what it was.
Escape?
Artful Escape. Yeah,
Matt loved Artful Escape.
He loved it so much that he didn't vote for it for Game of the Year and it ended up 5th on his list. You know, that's how much Matt loved that game. He's taking a batter in this episode.
Matt's like, I'm too hungover for this.
I am too hungover for this.
Next up, Gotham Knights got its release date. Kind of weird. They just announced it on Twitter, right? If I'm not mistaken. Which I was like, okay. Gotham Knights is finally coming out, and it will be October 25th. A game that you said would get delayed, right?
No,
we not speak about that last week. Matt said delayed.
I think I thought it might get delayed. Look, Halloween's a great time for it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Nailed it. Yeah.
For Batman? Yeah.
It's spooky Batman's game.
To be fair, I think it's a Batman game, but it's not a Batman game.
This is a Batman game like the Harry Potter game's a Harry Potter game.
Exactly. A Batman game I feel like could release at any point in the year and it'd be fine.
Didn't Matt say that Batman would be in this game?
I still think Batman will be in this game.
There's no chance Batman's in this game. It's not happening. Not happening. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait to play it. I'll hopefully play a game I can play through co-op. You know?
Yeah.
So we'll see how that runs.
2-player co-op.
Two-player co-op. With 3 players available to play.
4 players available to play. 2 players.
Okay. Right, you're right. Gamescom will be getting a physical event. COVID has apparently disappeared in the world since, Russia has started war, and apparently COVID no longer exists.
Yep.
Does
That's how it
everybody
works.
else feel like that, or is it just me?
Oh no, it's not just you. It's literally a worldwide thing of like everywhere. Everywhere's like, you can do whatever you want. Don't wear masks. Don't do anything. 6 feet doesn't matter. Like
What
Russia's
happened?
out there doing crazy stuff.
What happened?
Media's not focusing on COVID anymore.
But COVID is still out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure. I
But,
think
like,
as well.
because
Go on.
the media is not constantly hammering with the fact that COVID's happening.
Yeah.
Stuff like Gamescom and things like that probably feel like, oh, there's not going to be as many people. And not to say that that's the exact reason like they're doing it. But there's probably a consensus and a feeling that like not as many people are going to be worried about going out and about because COVID's not on the news anymore, right? They're not constantly being reminded of like, oh yeah, there's still this this virus out there that could potentially kill you and harm you, and you can pass it on to other people and all those things. If you're not reminded about it, out of sight, out of mind for some people.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not a conspiracy theorist guy. I'm not. Yeah, I swear to you, though. I'm not. Yeah? But petrol's gone up in price. Yeah? Gas and electric's gone up in price.
Yeah.
They made us stay indoors for a year. Nearly a year and a half. Something feels off. I'm telling you, though.
The moon landing.
And the moon landing never even happened. It's like, what the hell?
The end is nigh.
But yeah, Gamescom's back. 100,000 people crammed it. I am not going to Germany. No chance. I've got to answer this phone, so carry on talking about something I don't know. Do the next story for me.
Go for it, Kresh.
The Quarry Supermassive Games reveals Until Dawn's spiritual successor. Supermassive Games has revealed The Quarry, a spiritual successor to Until Dawn, launching on June 10th. As with Until Dawn, the cast is made up of a number of recognizable actors. The Quarry is a teen horror where players control 9 characters as they try to survive the last night of summer camp. And like Until Dawn, anyone can survive and anyone can die.
This game looks dope.
Super duper excited.
Me too. But the last Supermassive game I played, I am not enjoying it at all. So
I included a quote in this because I was curious on your opinion on it. I'm going to read it to you.
Go on.
And director Will Biles told IGN that each character has 10 to 12 different potential deaths. He said the Quarry is like a circular story, and each one of those characters is a spoke heading towards the middle, meaning any one of those spokes can be broken without affecting the rest of the narrative. I remember you speaking on the last game and how you felt like when characters died that the narrative wasn't really impacted.
Yeah.
Does that worry you at all with that statement for this game?
What gets me hyped about this game is Until Dawn was dope.
Until Dawn was so good.
Dope. Yeah, and I feel like this. I saw the it was a trailer, right? I saw what came out from this anyway, and was like, okay, I like that concept way more than I've liked any of the other concepts. I like Man of the Medan. Thought that one worked. The House of Ashes, I was a little bit iffy with. It was okay, and now I'm playing. No, Littlewood, I was okay with. House of Ashes is what I'm playing now, and I'm just like, Haley's like, should we finish it? I'm like, no, let's not finish it. I don't care. I can't wait for this one. I am, yes, very, very intrigued. We'll just have to wait and see, We'll just have to wait and see. What I think I'm going to start doing is not trying to save everyone in these games. I'm going to make some people goddamn die. And see what happens,
See how the story's affected.
Yeah, because I'm out here every time I play. I'm out here just like, please die. Oh, please survive. I'm dodging everything. Do you know what? I'm going to do everything wrong. This time when I play this one, there's 12 potential deaths. I'm going through all 12 on my first run.
Respect. I agree with you. So go on, Kresh.
I just have a question about Supermassive's other games. Can you make a choice that leads into a death, or is it just a wrong.
You
like
think
not
you
act-
can. You never
acting in
know.
time.
You never know,
Because I remember if I'm not mistaken, in Until Dawn, you can make choices for characters that led to their death. If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. So I didn't know if that was something in
You
other
you
Supermassive
can,
games.
but you also can't. Like, there's sometimes to me, there's obvious moments where it's like, it's very obvious when they're ready to kill a character. And it's like,
Got
if
it.
you don't get this moment right, then they're dead. Well, I didn't
Got
feel
it,
that with
okay.
Until Dawn, but maybe that was because Until Dawn was the first.
Yeah.
Maybe.
that's
Do you
fair.
know?
Maybe we should
So-
replay Until Dawn and see what we think.
Until Dawn's
PlayStation
so
game.
good.
PlayStation game, Matt.
It is a PlayStation game, but
game,
it's so good. It's so
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
a
I love
studio.
PlayStation.
That's a studio I'd love Xbox to buy, though. Just so
Yeah, man.
Massive.
those games on Game Pass day one, and coming at a frequent rate with a bit of money put behind them, a bit more money. I know Bandai currently publishes these, but yeah, I'd love that. Absolutely love it. Last piece of news, if
Wait.
no one has anything to add. Sorry, go on, please.
There's a breaking news story.
Ooh!
That Joanne just posted on
Breaking
Discord.
news!
You might like this one, Fix. Fortnite has removed building from its main mode for the new season. For 9 days. It's only 9 days.
Oh, 9 days of
It's
heaven,
9
though.
days. Yeah.
But bro,
So
they're testing stuff. They're testing
I think
stuff.
so.
They know that they're losing the player base.
Wow.
Wow.
So I'm just saying, like, if you ever wanted to play Fortnite with me, you have 9 days.
I'm down.
Huh.
I'll play
I'm
some Fortnite.
down.
When's the new
Monday?
season?
Fortnite
Tomorrow?
night?
Tomorrow stream? I know it's meant to be Elden Ring.
I'm down. Let's play Fortnite tomorrow.
We
Stream.
could do that. You guys keep talking. I'm gonna check when exactly the new season comes out because I don't know if it'll be out tomorrow. I think it is because I think it came
it's
out
tonight.
tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's already out at this point, or it comes out tonight. But let me just make sure.
Wait,
you guys
why?
about
But
what you
wait.
guys
Why only 9 days? What the hell's that about? This is a
must be
test,
a
right? This is a test.
Story implication maybe or something. There's a reason.
I'm reading
I
the
don't know.
article right now.
I'm looking at it. I'm seeing it's like building's been wiped out. It's up to the resistance to get it back. Jump in with your squad and help. The 7 uncover the imagined orders. Yeah. It's not. I ain't gonna lie. This image, I'm not in love with the characters they've got for this season. If I'm keeping it 100, Doctor Strange is there. That's kind of cool. But I'll play. Yes, I'm in. Yes, I'm in. Like, you ain't got to convince me. No build. I need to play this to reward them for no building. And then they need to be like, okay, now it's time to get Fixer back.
I think you might be right because they're giving people over shields on top of like max shield now, for right now, and you get increased movement and faster sprints since there's no cover in the game, since you can't build. So they're giving you like
They're
more
planning
survivability.
something out, man.
I think they're
They
trying.
know they've got to try something new to bring us back. It's us they need. We've got money. Well, buy your stupid skins.
You know how many Smite skins I buy? I'll buy
That's
some
facts.
Fortnite
I'll buy
stuff.
some Fortnite skins, no problem. Big news. That is big news. All right, I look forward to playing it with you boys. Definitely.
Let's do it tomorrow night.
Definitely. Last news story. Dead Space is targeting an early 2023 release date. Quote, we want to make sure that we are in place where the game we're going to deliver is going to be building upon the expectations of fans. The developers said today in the stream. So right now, we'll say early next year. We have a date in mind, and we want to make sure that everything converges for this. Yeah, I mean, shout out. I mean, I'm looking forward to Dead Space. I was never a Dead Space guy, so I remember.
Which is surprising.
It
Because
isn't. This game
not.
came out in that weird space where I was playing. I had an Xbox for a week, and then I didn't have an Xbox, and then I had a Nintendo for a week. It just came out at that time when my 360 was getting just taken from my house all of the time.
It's also a sci-fi game. And
True.
correct me if I'm wrong, Fitz,
No,
but
you're right.
you don't seem like the biggest sci-fi guy.
I don't like space.
It is like spacey space.
I don't like space. It has space in the title. Why don't I like space?
People don't like. I don't like sci-fi. I'm not a huge fan of sci-fi.
Do you know why I don't like space? It don't make sense. It don't make sense. To me, it don't make sense. You know? Plus, remember, everyone loves space. So that means I had to, back then, hate space.
Hate space.
Everyone liked Star Wars. I hated Star Wars. My nan on a Sunday when she's making dinner used to make us watch Star Trek. I hated Star Trek. Why?
Maybe you just didn't like those things.
That too.
And
but
you're saying because other people hate it or love it.
Do you know what? Because you know why? It's super nerdy. You got to remember, I'm a fake nerd. I'm not. I'm actually a nerd, but I'm a fake nerd. To like some people, I'm a fake nerd. You can't like rap music and like space. Back then,
you want to know why
now
you're a fake nerd?
Why?
You want to know why you're a fake nerd, Fix? Because they never heard you talk about Resident Evil.
That's facts.
You never heard
That's
you talk
facts.
about Resident Evil.
Did I tell you what happened?
No, what happened?
In roleplay. Playing roleplay, some guy's like, "Oh, you're a fake nerd" to my character. I went, "B, you don't know me like that. Tell me something about Resident Evil. I guarantee I get every answer right." Asked me 3 questions, got them all right. The guy was like, "Damn, I wasn't even ready." He tried to hit me with a trick question. He was like, "Who's the main playable character in Resident Evil 1? I went, "B, trick question. There's 2 main characters in Resident Evil 1. And he was like, "Damn, this guy's good." And I was like, "Damn straight I am."
He was impressed.
Damn straight I am. He didn't know. He didn't know that I knew.
He wasn't ready.
He wasn't ready.
Your love of Resident Evil is the reason that I'm surprised you don't like Dead Space, because it's pretty good.
No, the game's amazing. I remember playing it not too long ago in the grand scheme of things, like 3 years ago or something, and being like, "Oh yeah, this is a good game." It's dated now, so I don't love it like that. That's why when the remake got announced, I was like, "Oh, cool, I'm gonna enjoy this. I know for a fact I'm gonna enjoy this." So yeah, 2023, perfect. Feel free to push it to 2024. Like, no problem. I've got a lot of games to back in my back catalog. Just take your time,
old
guys.
Games, old Fix.
Yeah, that's why I need them to keep pushing this out. So it's not old. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it a lot.
Me too.
Are you,
I'm
Kresh?
interested.
Doesn't seem like your type of game.
I'm not like I liked my favorite Resident Evil game is Resident Evil 5. No, it's Resident Evil 2 remake.
I hate you.
But like Resident Evil games in general don't really do
Dead Space
too
is
much
better.
for me.
I think you'll like Dead Space more than Resident Evil.
Maybe, but I also I don't super care about sci-fi too much either, so
Too much space. I agree. Too many galaxies and stars and all that stuff.
agreed.
Bro, honestly,
Who cares about stars?
are we keeping it on? Even this whole Marvel madness and dimensions, and I'm kind of at the point where I'm like,
all these stuff trying to do the dimension stuff, because I know the Flash movies trying to do
DC's
it
trying to do it as well. Yeah,
the only movie I care about that has ever done it, and the only movie I'll ever care about is the Miles Morales Spider-Man movie from Sony, the animated one.
that was great.
I feel like they
Fantastic.
did it so good.
It's so
I
good.
don't feel like anything else will.
It might be the
reach
best.
that level for me.
I think
It is.
I think the attitude at Marvel and Disney. I mean, this is a different podcast altogether.
Stop. Hold it for the post show. Thank you all for watching.
Love it.
I appreciate each and every one of you. If you want to, let's plug and get ourselves out of it. Kresh, what you got to plug?
My Xbox and Me YouTube page. We're gonna be apparently streaming Fortnite tomorrow.
Yeah.
Monday streams Matt. Fix
Matt's
is
night.
available. We'll be playing Elden Ring with Fix. Also leave a subscribe, leave some likes on some comments. It'd be nice to hit the 1,500 mark on the My Xbox Me YouTube page, which we're not super far off.
No,
we haven't been super far off for a very long time.
I was gonna say, weren't we supposed to play Halo when we did that?
Yeah,
3 months ago.
We got close.
Yeah.
We almost got
so
there.
close. We got so close, and then
And then we dropped a few.
Yeah, we dropped like 15 subs. That's my fault.
Yeah,
That's my fault.
Damn.
Matt, what you got to plug?
I'm too hungover to plug anything. Carry on.
I respect it. New song out today, Head Pop Club Mix. So if you liked Head Pop, there is now a club version of Head Pop that is out. Literally came out today. And I've got another song out on Tuesday pulled right now. So if you are enjoying my music, keep streaming it on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever. Let me know some feedback. I'd love to know just if you even enjoy it. That would be amazing. I'm telling you, it ain't half bad. It ain't half bad. I'm telling you. I've got some good feedback off some people. Just saying. Faith in me. We're going to go record the post show, which you'll be able to get on Patreon very, very soon. Until then, I will love you, leave you, and see you all later. Good boys.
Bye.